Just doing a quick preface before we start, I in no way believe that Atlus should announce games before they're ready, nor do I believe that they should announce games in a really long time in advance. This is more a criticism towards how I feel like they've handled the Persona 25th anniversary, and how they kind of hyped it up to be some sort of big event, and so far there's really been nothing, despite the multiple announcements in Japan and the one announcement relevant to the US. Now, two technically, since the concert just got announced this morning, and I'm recording this after I've recorded everything else. I fully believe that Atlus should take their time to make games, and that they should be released when they're ready, not before, and they should be announced a little bit closer to when they're ready to release. This is not a cry for something like Persona 6 to be announced. This is simply just me criticizing how much they've kind of hyped up this anniversary event for it to so far be relatively small. Of course, that could change as things go along, so we'll see how this video ages. With all the jaw-dropping game announcements in the past month, it's hard to remember that Atlus also has the Persona 25th anniversary going. I mean, back in September, Atlus announced that there would be 7 projects in the works that would be coming to light as the year rolls by. And that honestly sounds really exciting. I mean, 7 whole projects for people to eat up for Persona? That's pretty cool, right? I mean, how could you possibly forget? Oh. I mean, that one's not too bad. That one's okay. Oh, right. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. If you couldn't tell, it's probably kind of hard to look at the Persona 25th anniversary as something super exciting if you live outside of Japan. I feel like for a lot of people, it's been relatively underwhelming, so much so that a lot of people mention that they've kind of just put it on the back burner and they'll get excited when something actually does get announced. I mean, it's been almost 6 years since the release of Persona 5 in Japan, and almost 3 years since the release of Persona 5 Royal, also in Japan. Subtract about a year each from that for anyone outside of Japan, and you'd have the release schedule that Atlus has had for the Persona series over the past 5 years. And not to mention Soul Hackers 2 is also releasing this year, alongside 2 other JRPGs perfectly lined up months apart from each other. All in all, it's a pretty big year for JRPGs, but it seems kind of weird that in the Persona 25th anniversary celebration, we don't really talk about Persona beyond mentioning that it is indeed celebrating its anniversary, yet has nothing of note announced for it. Persona's really come a long way since its initial release of 5 in 2016. It's come as far to be the first new third-party series to debut in Smash for DLC, and it's got numerous collaborations in other games, including some of Atlus's own, such as Tokyo Mirage Sessions, and even Soul Hackers 2 will have Persona 5 related content in it. Other collaborations also include things like Grand Blue Fantasy, Dragalia Lost, and Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, if you can believe it. So overall, you can't tell me for a second that Atlus doesn't realize how popular Persona, or at least the Persona 5 branch of Persona, really is. So to get back into the Persona 25th anniversary celebration, I feel like there's a pretty problematic setup behind it. For one, it's a problem of who is being targeted, who's the target audience for this. I feel like the first problem is related to how quickly information spreads. It's always felt like, since around the announcement of Persona 5 Royal, that Atlus is a little disconnected with how their fanbase operates and how they consume news outside of Japan. First off, the 7, which I now believe are 8 projects that were teased for the Persona 25th, were advertised only as 7 or 8 in Japan. On the Japanese website, there's a clear layout of 8 different projects that would be announced over the next year. On the English website, however, all it says is more announcements to come and a single question mark block on the end. What this likely means is that Atlus never had the intention to actually announce 7 different things worldwide, and instead it's for specifically 7 to 8 things for Japan, and anything that is game related will be released worldwide. Now, of course, this sounds like I'm blaming the English-speaking fanbase or the international fanbase for this problem. No, I'm not. I actually think that this is a fault of Atlus. For many of us, when we look forward to announcements, we usually look for a specific date or a specific month something will be announced. For example, E3 is always in June, so we know that our gaming announcements are coming around the summertime. However, with Atlus's case, on the Japanese website, they host a specific month that something will be announced. However, on the English, there is no specific month found at all. Instead, these projects are lined up so that they get the most media buzz, both in Japan and worldwide. However, the media buzz coming from worldwide may not always be positive. Reception to the overall 25th anniversary celebration outside of Japan has been fairly mixed. A lot of people were excited for the prospect of 7 different Persona project announcements, and what happened was only one has been relevant to outside of Japan. Popular websites like Persona Central are used for us to gain knowledge about the upcoming games that Atlus has planned. However, this means that if information is spread this way and Atlus is aware of it, they should also make aware to the outside of Japan how many announcements are going to be related for them and when those are going to pop up. In a lot of cases, it feels kind of like a waste of time to think about, oh, there's a Persona announcement coming up this month. Holy shit, I'm so excited. And then it's a festival in Japan that we can't even attend for a variety of reasons, not even among the fact that you don't live in Japan. You know, there's a little thing out there that is making it hard to travel around the world. Now, in terms of the 7 projects and my own thoughts on it, originally, I never expected 7 games. I saw a lot of people mentioning that these 7 projects may not necessarily be tied to video games, as Atlus likes to do a lot of things outside of that for their series. A lot of the time I think of things like concerts and art events and things like that. I honestly don't really even think much of game anniversaries, but I feel like this one, in terms of announcing things, has been handled pretty poorly. If we're talking about anniversaries that were handled at least a little bit better, in the peak of COVID during 2020, Mario had his 35th anniversary celebration, and instead of announcing all of this stuff separately and randomly throughout the year, everything was announced on a single day in September, where Nintendo hosted their own presentation. All information in that presentation was related to worldwide news, so anyone who wanted to buy the Mario games that were coming out could buy them. But I do sympathize with the whole group of people who felt like there would be at least a few game announcements. Atlus has been no stranger to at least ports of games, as the success of Persona 4 Golden on the PC was unexpected for them. Getting information from Atlus has always been a bumpy and kind of annoying ride. I mean, let's take a look back at the Persona 5 Royal announcement. We got a random teaser trailer in January that we were all anticipating that said, more announcements will be in March, which there were more announcements in March. Do you want to know what was in March? It was a trailer for Persona 5 Royal that revealed the title and Kasumi. And that was it. We didn't even get gameplay. That was it. And they said, more announcements will come at our Persona concert this year. So you wait until the Persona concert, and we finally get our first gameplay trailer of Royal. As someone who sits down to watch 40 long As someone who loves to sit down and watch companies advertise things to me for 40 minutes to just sell me some products, I feel like Atlus knows what they're doing, but it's a little frustrating to deal with it overall as a consumer. It also feels like the websites were set up so that people would know that not all the announcements coming out of Japan would be related for international audiences. However, it's never explicitly stated, which gives people a little bit of hope that it might be related for both sides. So ultimately, the point is never conveyed effectively. It's just partially implied based on if you look at the website. Since we're not given anything and we just get a slapped on coming soon on the website, it's kind of hard to gauge when the next announcement will be relevant to us, especially since 2 out of 3 announcements later, there really isn't much to show for it. And for a lot of people, it's 3 out of 3 announcements, because Persona 4 Golden is still only locked to PS Vita and PC, so the PS4 and Switch, which both got the release of Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, don't have access to the original Persona 4 to see the original story. And Persona 4 Arena Ultimax also spoils parts of that story. I mean, just look at the original announcement. Teddy comes out and goes like, hey guys, are you curious what happens after Persona 4 Golden? Well, now you can find out in Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. That's not what he sounds like at all. So just to make things clear, people already aren't totally interested in Persona 4 Arena Ultimax because they haven't played Persona 4. And on top of that, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax also spoils stuff in Persona 3 and Persona 3 FES, so you gotta play that too, which is not available on any modern console. And yes, you can emulate it. Yes, you can buy a PS3 and play it, but that's not my point. My point is that none of this is easily accessible, and it makes it hard for people to care about this announcement afterwards. Do we have to sift through every single announcement in the coming months to finally get one we care about all the way at the end? It's so difficult to care about the 25th anniversary of Persona when there really hasn't been anything substantial announced for people who live outside of Japan. Anyways, this is a very long and intense rant slash kind of cobbling my findings and my understanding of this together. For the most part, it's not very structured, and I know that might be a little hard to deal with, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you like it, please, why don't you comment down below what you think of the Persona 25th anniversary celebration? Are you excited still for things to come? Are you just waiting on the back burner saying, I'll get back to this when something exciting happens? Until then, it's just not worth keeping up with. Or maybe you're just not even paying attention to it. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. But I do sympathize. Ooh. The fuck does that even mean? Of course, Atlus is no stranger to ports, and ever since the success of Persona 5 Golden...